Hello, adventurers! My name is Chance. Welcome to my Spellbook, and thank you for tuning into the 7th episode of our background series. We're really just going to be focusing on cranking these out. I think they're incredibly useful, especially to the newer players, and even a lot of the more veteran ones as well. A lot of these are found in several different books, and a lot of them are actually, or a couple, not a lot, but a couple of them are actually found in Adventure Path modules. So the odds of you having access to them are pretty hit or miss, I guess, depending on how well you prepared and how much your DM is willing to share with you. But in any case, today we're talking about Celebrity Adventures Scion, which is found in Acquisitions Incorporated. They have quite a few. I think it's just about half a dozen or so. They're actually really well done and really creative. I do like them quite a bit. I don't see any problem with any of them, to be completely honest with you. However, it's fair to be said that a lot of them are geared towards the initial meeting of the campaign or of the players, which isn't a bad thing at all, but it is rather interesting nonetheless. Now let's move on to its description here. Your family name strikes fear and admiration in the hearts of the common folk, but that's got nothing to do with you. Songs and stories celebrating the adventuring exploits of your famous parent are widely known. Kids across the land grew up wishing they were you, but being a child of a famous adventurer wasn't all hugs and kisses. Now this, of course, is it's very much a theme with anything coming out of Acquisitions Incorporated. They're kind of written in this comical, tongue-in-cheek kind of fashion, which is really fun to read and go through, and it stands very far apart from the more serious nature of a lot of the themes in Dungeons and Dragons as a whole. It's really cool, I like it, but let's move on to its mechanics here. Under skill proficiencies, you gain access to perception and performance. Under tool proficiencies, disguise kit, and languages 2 of your choice. Under equipment, you gain access to disguise kit, set of fine clothes, and a belt pouch containing 30 gold piece. That's right, you didn't misread that. 30. That's quite a hefty haul, seeing as how the average is around 10, and seeing as how the last background we covered was a humble 2. So, started from the bottom, now we here, I guess. Taking a look at this overall, however, really strong, especially if you're planning on playing a more outgoing character. Proficiency in perception is, without a doubt, always a good thing. Performance is really good if you're planning on being a little bit more outstanding or planning on taking a more social kind of role. Languages, or the tool proficiency with disguise kit, of course, fits along with that. Under languages, 2 of your choice, really good. It's always worth talking with your dungeon master about languages, seeing what's in the area you'd grow up in and what you would likely gain the most benefit from in the long haul. And taking a look at the equipment, it's nice that it gives you the disguise kit outright. Most of the backgrounds do, but some of them won't, so it's certainly nice to see that. Outside of that, there's nothing really worth commenting on from there. Now let's take a look at their feature. This one's called Namedropping. You know or have met any number of powerful people across the land, and some of them might even remember you. You might be able to wrangle minor assistance from a major figure in the campaign at the DM's discretion. Additionally, the common folk treat you with deference, and your heritage and the stories you tell might be good for a free meal or a place to sleep. This essentially lets you leverage your parents' fame and fortune on your own behalf. It doesn't provide you any direct mechanical benefit. However, I would certainly give them some form of a buff when it came to social interactions when this particular feature was relevant. For example, give them advantage on persuasion checks, or maybe even a flat bonus to it when they're rolling against someone who has reverence for their parents, or maybe even fear for them, depending on how the world is set up and how you want to embody these particular figures. Now let's move on to its suggested characteristics. Under personality trait, my parent taught me a sense of duty. I strive to uphold it even when the odds are against me. The ideal is wisdom. Material wealth is an illusion. Wisdom is the real treasure, and that will push you towards the good alignment. Under bond, despite their absences, my famous parent was kind and generous. I love them and want to make them proud. Under flaw, my comrades are brave, but I must defeat this threat alone to prove my worth. I really like this overall. It kind of embodies the hero's journey in a nutshell, as well as on a more personal level, the desire to fill large shoes. Likely, when this character was growing up, their parent wouldn't be around a whole lot, not only because they were adventuring, but you could also make an argument for them not wanting to bring the danger back home, where their young child was growing up in relative peace. Outside of that, maybe there would be influences who would turn the child against the parent, and you could of course feature that in a campaign as well, maybe having them have an imaginary friend that is actually a demon in disguise or something of that fashion. Whether or not the parent is alive would also likely feature into this as well, especially as regards to the flaw. If the parent is alive and still out traveling, maybe the PC wants to make their name well known enough and achieve enough where they believe that their celebrity parent would consider them worthy and not really a hindrance to bring along on their future adventures. Or you could maybe have an adversarial relationship where the son or daughter or child wants to one-up their parent in one form or fashion. I think there's a lot you can do with this. I really do like the idea of using this as a way to add a different level of interaction in your campaign world in general, basically letting the party know that there are other parties out there that are far above and beyond what they are currently capable of achieving, and until they step up their game, they're likely just going to remain nobodies. It's pretty cool. I would certainly run it in that direction. Now let's get into my personal thoughts on it. Overall, it's okay. I think its description is funny and it falls in line with a lot of the ACK Incorporated stuff. Its mechanics aren't terrible. There's nothing to really write home and brag about, but they're certainly workable. The feature is where I have my biggest bone of contention. I feel like overall, virtually every other background, with a couple minor exceptions, has just more to offer mechanically. There's a lot of flavor here for sure, but the mechanical benefits are, like, at best, it's similar to maybe what the athlete has. You know, you can kind of use reputation to maybe get people to open up to you better, or offer them a night's stay, but outside of that, it's just kind of meh. It's really up to the DM to carry this feature as far as it's willing to go. Under the suggested characteristics, I think they're all really strong, to be honest. The Acquisitions Incorporated team puts a lot of effort towards flavor, and the suggested characteristics are probably where this particular background shines as a whole. It gives the Dungeon Master a lot of great opportunities to play around with the world, set up and circumvent expectations, and all this cool stuff, maybe even exceed expectations. You know, for all you know, the player character may or may not be a son of a god in disguise. I think that would be pretty cool. Or maybe their parent is just a fraud overall and has cheated their reputation through betraying fellow party members, and you don't discover that until quite a bit later on. The character arcs in most cases typically write themselves, and this is definitely no exception. There's certainly a lot you can do. That being said, if you'd like a free one-shot to try out a couple of these ideas, feel free to go to the guild hall and just use code WELCOME, link down beneath in the description. And of course, let me know what you think of the Celebrity Adventurers Scion down beneath in the comments section. Be sure to mention any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, or potential ideas or usages you could see for it. And as always, I hope everyone has a great day and happy adventuring.